Okay, stop scrolling. I need you to imagine something. It's 6 a.m. You're still in bed. Your phone buzzes. Someone you follow just posted. No photo, no filter, no context, just text. Day 847, ran 12 miles, ate nothing, ready. You check the profile. 0 selfies, 73 posts, all identical. Bio says one thing. Weakness is a decision. And the worst part? 400,000 followers, all of them just commenting the word yes. You just found a Spartan. He has Wi-Fi now. And I need you to understand, this is the most dangerous thing that has ever happened to the internet. Here's what everyone gets wrong about Sparta. People think Spartans were just incredibly built guys screaming in slow motion, like the movie 300. That movie was historically inaccurate in almost every way, but the personality? Completely accurate. Because Spartans were not just warriors, they were the first people in recorded history to make suffering into a personality trait, and then judge everyone else for not suffering enough. That combination has a modern name. We just call it a LinkedIn fitness influencer with a podcast, and we are going to walk through exactly, step by step, why the internet would not survive them for a single week.
Let's start at birth, because Sparta started judging people before they could walk. When a Spartan baby was born, it wasn't taken home. It was taken to a council of elders. Immediately. Not to be celebrated, not to be named, not to be welcomed into the world. To be evaluated. The council examined the baby and decided, right there, whether it was physically strong enough to become a Spartan. If yes, welcome to 30 years of professional suffering. If no, the baby was left on the hillside. Now, imagine a Spartan elder on a parenting Facebook group today. Someone posts, "Hi mamas, my 8-month-old isn't hitting his milestones yet. Should I be worried?" Spartan elder replies, "Has the council seen him?" What council? This explains everything. Banned from the group in 6 minutes, gets 37 angry replies, responds to none of them, because Spartans didn't believe in wasting words. And that brings us to the most dangerous Spartan trait of all. Spartans were famous, historically, verifiably famous, for saying as little as possible. This is literally where we get the word laconic, from Laconia, the region of Sparta. Laconic means using the fewest words possible to say the most devastating thing imaginable. And Spartans were absolute professionals at it. The most famous example in history, the king of Macedon, one of the most powerful rulers in the ancient world, sent Sparta a letter. The letter said, "If I bring my army into your land, I will destroy your farms. I will burn your cities. I will kill your people, and I will raze everything you have ever built to the ground." He was expecting negotiation. He was expecting fear. He was expecting a long, diplomatic response. The entire Spartan reply, the full, complete, official response from the Spartan government, was one word. If. That's it. One word. Ended a military threat. No meeting, no committee, no follow-up email, just if. A Spartan on social media today would be the most followed and most terrifying account on the entire platform. They would post once a week, always one sentence. Someone writes a 4-paragraph argument. Spartan replies, "No." Thread collapses, 800 likes. Someone tries again. "Can you elaborate?" Spartan, "No." Another 500 likes. The Spartan never explains, never defends, never goes back and forth, because in Sparta, if you needed more than one sentence, you had already lost. But here's where it gets worse. The Agoge. At age 7, not 17, not 12, 7, Spartan boys were taken from their families, permanently, and sent to a military training program that lasted until they were 30 years old. They lived in barracks, slept on reeds they cut themselves with their bare hands, were deliberately given less food than they needed, not by accident, on purpose. Sparta deliberately underfed its children so they would learn to steal food to survive. And here's the part that makes it even more unhinged. If a boy got caught stealing, he was punished. Not for stealing,
for getting caught. The lesson was not stealing is wrong. The lesson was incompetence is wrong. Getting caught means you were sloppy. Try again. A Spartan would be the most toxic player in the history of online gaming, not because he cheats, because he has a fully developed philosophical framework for why cheating is actually a form of discipline. I exploited the system. The system allowed it. Your failure to adapt is the problem. Bro, you're literally hacking. I am optimizing. I'm going to report you. Your threats require elaboration. Mine do not. What does that even mean? Spartan has already left the game. Now let's talk about food, because this is the part that makes everything make sense. The national dish of Sparta was called black broth. It was a soup made from pork, blood, vinegar, salt. That was the entire recipe. No vegetables, no seasoning, no mercy. Just a bowl of something that ancient writers described as almost physically impossible to consume if you weren't raised in Sparta. A historian from another Greek city visited Sparta, tasted the black broth, and wrote, and this is a real historical quote, "Now I understand why the Spartans do not fear death, because they had already experienced something worse at dinner." A Spartan food account today would be the most commented account on the internet, not because it's good, because it's insane. Week 1. Breakfast. Broth. Cold. Sufficient. Week 2. Someone asked if I ever crave flavor. I do not understand the question. Week 4. A visitor tried my broth today. He cried. This was not the intended response, but it was acceptable. 11 million views. Not a single recipe in the comments section, just people asking if he's okay. He never responds, because responding would require caring what other people think, and Spartans had a very specific policy on that. 0. The policy was 0. Which brings us to Spartan marriage. And this is the part of history that completely destroys the tough guy image forever. Spartan men were not allowed to live with their wives, even after marriage, even after having children. They lived in military barracks until age 30. And if they wanted to see their wives, they had to sneak out, at night, in secret, like teenagers sneaking past their parents after curfew. The most feared warriors in the entire ancient world, sneaking home to their wives at midnight, hoping nobody saw them leave. Historians confirm this. Plutarch wrote about it in detail. A Spartan man would leave the barracks after dark, visit his wife, and be back before dawn so no one would know. Which raises the completely serious historical question of, what happened if someone saw him? The answer, apparently, was shame. The same man who would walk into a wall of spears without blinking was embarrassed to be seen visiting his own wife. A Spartan on a relationship subreddit today would be the least helpful human being ever to type words. Someone posts, "My partner and I feel disconnected lately. We barely see each other. How do we fix this?" "I see mine every 11 days. We have 4 children. The system works." That sounds incredibly lonely. Loneliness is a perspective. Are you okay? Define the metric. Like, emotionally? Next question. And then there's the mothers. Because if you think Spartan men were a lot, Spartan mothers were built completely different. When a Spartan soldier left for war, his mother didn't say, "Be careful." She didn't say, "Come home safe." She handed him his shield and said, and this is a real, historically documented phrase, "Come back with your shield, or on it," meaning win, or don't come back at all. Not, "I love you," not, "I'll miss you." Win or die. Those are the options. Have a good trip. A Spartan mother in a school WhatsApp group today would cause immediate chaos. Teacher sends message, "Hi parents, just a reminder that tomorrow is sports day. Please send your child with water and a snack." "My son requires neither." "Oh, it can get quite hot, so..." He knows. "We just want to make sure all the kids are comfortable." That is your first mistake. Removed from the group. creates her own group, calls it the Strong. Nobody joins. She doesn't notice. Here's the thing about Sparta that most people miss. They weren't wrong about everything. They valued discipline, community, accountability, physical strength, equality in suffering. Spartan women trained as athletes at a time when most ancient civilizations thought women shouldn't even leave the house. Some of what Sparta built was genuinely ahead of its time, but they wrapped all of it, every good idea, every valid principle, in the most aggressively exhausting delivery system in the history of human civilization. The discipline was real, the judgment was constant, the communication was a single word followed by silence, and the food was blood soup. Every modern gym influencer, every 4 a.m. cold plunge guy, every I don't own a couch podcast host is running a digital agoge. And they all owe a debt to a Spartan who has been dead for 2,500 years. The difference? The Spartan never posted about it. He just did it, ate his broth, went back to the barracks, and silently judged everyone who didn't, which is somehow the most powerful social media strategy ever created by someone who never knew social media existed. If Spartans had the internet, they would have the most followers, the fewest posts, and the most psychologically devastating reply section in the history of any platform. Their entire account would be 4 sentences per month, each one ending a conversation. And their bio would say exactly one thing. No emojis, no links, no call to action, just this. If. If you want more history that sounds completely insane but is somehow completely real, subscribe, because next time we are talking about the Vikings, and trust me, they were worse.